September 10th, 2025, 12:23 p.m. When Charlie Kirk stepped onto that stage, nobody knew this would be his final speech. The footage captured on camera still sends chills down millions of spines. Charlie Kirk arrived at Utah Valley University on the morning of September 10th, and everything seemed normal. This was the first stop of the new season for the American Comeback Tour. About 3,000 people had gathered to listen to him. Kirk was used to these kinds of events. For years, he had been debating with students on university campuses, defending his ideas. But nobody knew yet that at 8:29 a.m., a gray Dodge Challenger had entered the campus. The driver was Tyler James Robinson, 22 years old. He appeared in different clothes on security cameras, as if he was trying to hide what he was planning. Robinson's background was complicated. This young man living in St. George, Utah, was a student in an electrical apprentice program. He had dropped out of Utah State University after one semester. His family was Mormon, conservative, Trump supporters. But Robinson had started thinking differently over the past year. His movements that morning were suspicious. At 11:50 a.m., he appeared in a grassy area. At 11:53 a.m., he stopped at the top of some stairs and pulled out his phone. Who was he calling? What was he checking? Maybe he was sending his final message to friends in his Discord group. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk was preparing to throw hats from the stage where microphones were being tested. Energetic as always, charismatic as always. The 31-year-old political activist had become influential over millions of young people. He was the founder of Turning Point USA, a close ally of Trump. But the most shocking thing was yet to happen. At 12:09 p.m., Charlie Kirk took the stage. He was throwing hats to the crowd, greeting everyone with that familiar smile. Sitting under a tent, he was enjoying the event in a relaxed manner. At 12:11 p.m., he began speaking. Kirk's mood was good that day. He was excited about the new season of the American Comeback Tour. He enjoyed debating with university students, trying to convince them. He had mastered having respectful dialogue even with liberal students. Meanwhile, Robinson had already climbed onto the roof of the Losey Center building. Lying prone, he was watching the stage 430 feet away. In his hands was a scoped rifle, a Mauser 30-06 hunting rifle. Where had he gotten this rifle? How had he brought it onto campus? Charlie Kirk was discussing mass shootings in America with student Hunter Kozak. It seemed like a normal Q&A. Kozak had asked a question about transgender issues, and Kirk was patiently explaining, making hand gestures. This was one of his specialized topics. When the question, "What do you think about mass shootings?" came up, Kirk gave an unexpected answer. While defending gun rights, he also emphasized that violence was not the solution. 12:23:30 p.m. One sound, one bullet, through the neck. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. Deseret News reporter Emma Pitts described that moment. "I saw so much blood coming from the left side of Charlie's neck. Then he went limp." Former Congressman Jason Chaffetz was there. As soon as the shot went out, everybody hit the deck and everybody started scattering and yelling and screaming. 6 people immediately carried Kirk to an SUV. He was taken to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, but it was already too late. At 2:40 p.m., Trump announced Kirk's death on Truth Social. America's most influential young conservative voice had been forced into silence. The moment Robinson jumped from the roof was caught on security cameras. The FBI would later release this footage. He had run from the south corner of the roof to the north corner, taking advantage of the height difference to hang from the edge and drop to the ground. In his haste, he left footprints, palm prints, DNA samples everywhere. The imprint of his Converse shoes remained in the soil. But he didn't know yet that the rifle he left in the wooded area was full of evidence that would be his downfall. A Mauser 30-06 hunting rifle. But what really caught attention were the inscriptions on the bullet casings. Notices, bulges, "Oh, whoa, what's this?" Reference to furry internet culture. "Hey, fascist, catch." Eber, bomb code from the game, Helldivers. None who. Oh, bella ciao, 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 ciao. Italian anti-fascist anthem. If you read this, you are gay, LMOO. What did these inscriptions mean? They showed Robinson's connection to internet culture and his political motivation. Bella Ciao was particularly meaningful. It was an anti-fascist march. You won't believe it, but these inscriptions would reveal his identity. The FBI received over 7,000 tips. They conducted over 200 interviews. Facial recognition technology had failed, but social media accounts were being examined. When Robinson's friends in his Discord group saw the photos released by the FBI, they were shocked. When they said, "This looks like Tyler," Robinson jokingly replied, "Whoever catches me should give me a cut of the FBI reward." He also said, "I'll be careful not to go to McDonald's," referencing the Luigi Mangione incident. But when the phone rang, his life would change. On the evening of September 11th, when Robinson's parents at their home in Washington, Utah compared their son to the suspect in the news, they were horrified. "Mother, Tyler, is this you?" Robinson, double quote. This silence said everything. The thoughts, plans, anger that Robinson had hidden from his family. Everything was coming out at once. Charlie Kirk's sparkle in his eyes was gone because, after talking to his family, Robinson began to fear. He was afraid of being shot by police, of a SWAT team coming to the house. The family contacted a retired detective from their Mormon congregation. This detective had worked at the Washington County Sheriff's Department. Robinson's father, Dennis, was worried about his son's safety. The family decided together surrender was the best option. That night he went to the sheriff's office with his father and surrendered. When the door opened, what they saw, the 33-hour manhunt had ended. FBI, ATF, local police. Everyone had been waiting for this moment. Robinson showed no resistance. He was calm, submissive. Utah Governor Spencer Cox announced the next day that Robinson was the only suspect. But the real confessions were yet to come. Robinson's roommate was transgender. This detail was very important because it helped us understand Robinson's radicalization process. Over the past year, his relationship with his family had deteriorated, and he had leaned toward more liberal ideas. Unlike his conservative family, he thought differently about LGBTQ+ rights. Robinson's mother told investigators about her son's change over the past year. He had become more political, had shifted to leftist thoughts, become more supportive of gay and trans rights. In captured messages, he had written to his roommate, "I'm tired of his hatred. Some hatred can't be negotiated away." The roommate was unaware of Robinson's plan, but was shocked. He was answering police questions, turning over messages in his possession. These messages showed that Robinson discussed where he hid the rifle, the scope, and the engraved bullets. Everyone had learned the truth, but the real shock. Robinson's family were Republicans and Trump supporters. His grandmother told the media, "The whole family are Republicans and Trump supporters." In fact, childhood photos were taken at gun shows, hunting trips. But Robinson had taken a different path. After leaving Utah State University, he had become even more radicalized. Utah Governor Spencer Cox announced that Robinson had shifted to leftist ideology. He had come under the influence of internet culture and had completely broken ideologically with his family. At a family dinner, Robinson had said he hated Charlie Kirk and knew he was coming to Utah Valley University. Nobody had taken this seriously. Trump expressed deep sorrow in his Truth Social post announcing Kirk's death. "America has suffered a great loss," he said. On September 15th, all federal flags were lowered to half-staff. However, there was a notable detail. Trump had not made the same gesture for Democratic Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman, who was killed in June. That powerful person was once so helpless too. Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, was elected as the new CEO of Turning Point USA. With a unanimous decision on September 18th, she took over leadership of the organization. Trump, Vance, and Elon Musk attended the memorial ceremony held at State Farm Stadium on September 21st. Over 30,000 people attended the ceremony. Trump, Vance, Tucker Carlson spoke. Cardinal Timothy Dolan compared Kirk to a modern-day St. Paul. But the most striking detail was different. Trump said at the ceremony, "Charlie didn't hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where Charlie and I disagreed. I hate my opponents." These words showed Trump's true character and gave clues about the future. After Kirk's death, the Trump administration launched an unexpected campaign. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that she would characterize critical comments about Kirk as hate speech. This move drew criticism from both liberal and conservative circles. Conservative commentators like Tucker Carlson and Eric Erickson even criticized Bondi. A website called Expose Charlie's Murderers was established, later became Charlie Kirk Data Foundation. Over 63,000 reports were collected. People were reporting those who made critical comments about Kirk, who celebrated his death. The results were horrific. Teachers were fired, firefighters were dismissed, military personnel received disciplinary action. Secret Service agents were removed from duty. You won't believe it, but wrong people were targeted. An elementary school teacher in Wisconsin, an IT technician working at Walmart. Families had to abandon their homes. Even Jimmy Kimmel's show came under threat. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr threatened ABC with license revocation. Nexstar Media Group decided not to broadcast the program on 32 stations. What would you do if you were in that situation? Russian media and Iranian bot accounts used the incident for their own propaganda. Fake videos, fake photos were published. AI tools spread misinformation. On September 16th, Robinson appeared before a judge via video link at Utah County Court. In the hearing chaired by Judge Tony Graff, Robinson maintained a stoic attitude. The death penalty was being sought. Charges: first-degree murder, use of a firearm. 2 counts of obstruction of justice, witness intimidation, violence in the presence of children. This was the first death penalty request in Utah State in years. When he read that document, Robinson's financial situation was examined and a public defender needed to be appointed. Since the local public defender didn't work on death penalty cases, a special search was initiated. Attorney Catherine Nestor from Salt Lake City was appointed to defend Robinson. The hearing was postponed to September 29th. The FBI laboratory was analyzing the rifle. DNA samples, fingerprints, ballistic analysis, everything pointed to Robinson. Kirk's death brought political violence back to the agenda in America. This was one link in the chain of other attacks that occurred in 2025. June. 2 Democratic Minnesota representatives and their spouses were killed. Israeli consulate workers were killed in Washington. April, Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro's home was set on fire. December 2024. United Healthcare CEO. Brian Thompson was killed. Democratic politicians also condemned the incident. Obama, Biden, Clinton, all offered condolences to Kirk's family. But the Trump administration chose a different path. The injustice that could happen to any of us. Stephen Miller characterized Kirk's death as the result of ideology at war with family and nature. FBI Director Kash Patel got into arguments with Democratic senators in the Senate. On September 17th, Trump announced he would designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. Even Jimmy Kimmel's show was temporarily taken off the air due to his comments about Kirk. Variety magazine commented, "Calls are being made to silence anyone who criticizes Kirk's work." Charlie's vulnerability in his voice was gone because world leaders published condolence messages for Kirk. Argentine President Javier Milei, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, but far-right leaders used the incident for their own purposes. Viktor Orban. Stop the hate-mongering leftists. Jordan Bardella, France. The left's dehumanizing rhetoric fuels political violence. Santiago Abascal, Spain. Paid tribute by wearing the same shirt Kirk was wearing when he was killed. He only had 10 minutes in that final speech. A proposal for a moment of silence for Kirk in the European Parliament was rejected. French MP Nathalie Loiseau said, "Although Kirk was a victim, he would have been considered a criminal in France because of his racist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic views." The news of Kirk's death became the main agenda of the day. Fox News, MSNBC, CNN went into breaking news mode. On September 10th, the three channels attracted a total of 6.9 million viewers, a 65% increase. On September 12th, Fox News aired the special program Charlie Kirk, an American original. Tyler James Robinson had now taken his place in history as an example of political violence. Jesse Waters: "They are at war with us. We're going to avenge Charlie's death the way he would want it avenged." Progressive streamer Hassan Piker: "This is a terrifying incident. The reverberation of people seeking vengeance will be genuinely worrying." Uncensored videos spread on social media like lightning. Even Instagram's teen accounts could find shooting videos. Child safety organizations like Common Sense Media and Bark experienced traffic spikes. After Kirk's death, crazy theories emerged on social media. Some claimed it was fake, others claimed other forces were involved. Roger Stone: "This appears to be a professional assassination by a nation-state, rogue elements of our own government, or a terrorist organization." The Wall Street Journal falsely reported that the inscriptions on the bullets contained transgender ideology. When the real inscriptions were revealed, they had to make corrections but didn't apologize. Human Rights Campaign published an open letter. This reporting was reckless and irresponsible, leading to a wave of threats against the trans community. Russian officials Dmitry Medvedev and Kirill Dmitriev connected Kirk's criticism of Ukraine to his death. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about Israel emerged. Tucker Carlson caused controversy by referencing Jesus' death at the memorial service. You won't believe it, but YouGov's September 12th poll: 87% agreed that political violence was a problem. But 18% of liberals, 7% of conservatives said political violence was sometimes justifiable. 22% of those aged 18 to 29 approved of violence, while only 3% over 65 did. According to a Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression poll, 30% of college students supported using violence to stop a speaker, up from 20% in 2020. What would you do if you were in that situation? An Associated Press NORC poll showed a morale collapse among Republican voters, while 70% said the country is heading in the right direction in June. Only 49% said the same in September. A memorial area was established on the Utah Valley University campus. Candlelight vigils were held in the U.S., Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and South Africa. Online donation campaigns raised $6 million by September 14th. Morgan Wallen dedicated "I'm a Little Crazy" to Erica Kirk at his Edmonton concert. Chris Martin remembered the Kirk family at a Coldplay concert. You can send love even to people you disagree with. A memorial area was established on the Utah Valley University campus. British rap duo Bob Vylan insulted Kirk in Amsterdam. Pronouns was, were. Because if you talk shit, you get shot. Rest in piss, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk lost his life at age 31. He had influenced millions of young people and become a powerful voice in the political arena. He had transformed Turning Point USA from a small organization into a national force. The truth is, political violence has always been the losing side. Kirk's final words were cut short during a question about mass shootings. Perhaps the most ironic thing was this: he became a victim of violence while giving anti-violence messages. Tyler James Robinson, at 22, had darkened his entire life. Raised in a Mormon family, brought up with conservative values, but had become captivated by radical ideas. So what do you take away from this story? The Trump administration used Kirk's death to silence political opposition. Hundreds of innocent people lost their jobs, their lives were ruined. The problem of political violence in America is deepening. Each side blames the other, but no fundamental solution is being sought. Robinson's trial continues. If he receives the death penalty, it will be the first death sentence handed down in Utah in years. His lawyers planning a mental health defense, DNA evidence, fingerprints, ballistic analysis. Everything points to Robinson. His chances of escape are very slim. Turning Point USA continues with Charlie Kirk's legacy. Under Erica Kirk's leadership, the organization continues to grow. Security measures have been increased, only closed venues are preferred. But one question remains: how will this cycle be broken? The right-left polarization in America is at its peak. Every politician can become a target. Secret Service protection requests are increasing. Charlie Kirk's story ends here. But the problem of political violence in America continues. Who will be the next victim? From which ideology will the next attacker come? And this might just be the beginning. Kirk's death marked a dark turning point in American politics. His name now appears on the list of political violence victims. Remember, September 10, 2025, 12:23 p.m. Charlie Kirk's last breath also took away a part of America.